resonates amp, but we use it for recording a lot around here. Like,
what do you record through the ENGL?
What we'll do is we'll take these two mattresses over here and line them up kind of like right down the middle and just put like a barrier basically between the two amps. And we'll close mic the amps so they, you get like a really close amp sound. And then we'll take those stereo overheads, they're KSM 141s I think, and we'll stick those right about here and do a stereo mic in and kind of have the amps basically the way they are, and it gives a really cool stereo sound that you can't really get without actually micing two amps like that, so it's not quite like micing an amp and then putting it in the left and then playing it over again and micing it and putting it in the right. It's a not as wide of a sound, but it's definitely more realistic. So we always try to strive for the real.
And what's the difference in the sound with the ENGL and the Marshall and
the Marshall? I don't know. The Marshall is one of those amps that you don't really need to tweak too much to make it sound good. It just kind of sounds good. And really, honestly, even as much tweaking as you can do won't change the sound too much. The ENGL, on the other hand, there are some settings you can make that will sound like garbage, but there are also you can dial it in to sound like a lot of stuff. It's a
diverse.
It's really it's definitely a really diverse amp. It's got four gain settings. It's got a lead and a clean channel, and then it's got a more drive button for each one of those. And the whole thing is tube. It's really, ENGL is kind of coming out to be the same kind of amp company as Orange and Sun and those kind of amps. They're
heavy but art rock.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll see the absolutely screaming balls to the walls metal bands. You'll see them using Orange amps, but you also see, I don't know if this is the case, but bands like Wilco would use Orange and nobody will give them any crap about it. So and ENGL's kind of become the same thing. And ENGL makes a lot of metal amps, but this is kind of this is the Screamer 50, which is kind of their classic line. Mm-hmm. They have a bunch of tweed amps too that I actually think might be called classic. But this is kind of like if you're looking for like a Stevie Ray Vaughan or a Kirk Hammett or anything that's not 5150 PV sounding, anything not to that degree.
I feel like I hear Eddie playing on it a lot, and it seems he dials in the Jimmy Page tone like almost perfectly on that amp.
Yeah. And it's really nice.
Like
you can go all the way from absolutely no gain, completely clean channel, to pretty heavily distorted without too much of a gap between the two. With that more drive kind of button. A lot of Fenders, like those Fender combo amps, have that. They have the drive and they have the more drive thing. You can use it on both the clean and the distortion channel. And that way, you go all the way up to the top of your clean gain, then hit more drive, bring it back down, go all the way up, and then turn on your distortion, turn off the more drive, and it's less distorted than more drive all the way up for the clean.
It's effectively the same thing for the ENGL, right?
Right, exactly. And you can basically just go from, it goes gain to structure, and then it bounces down a little bit, and down a little bit, and it covers basically any kind of gain setting you could imagine, from just a little bit of buzz to some crunch to full on distortion to like Screamer, So it's a cool amp.